Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of VAR and Espresso. You join myself and Leo on the day that the first, in the modern era, let's say, Club World Cup champions were crowned. And it's not the ones that everybody assumed it would be. Leo, is the best team in the world Chelsea?
Okay, first I have to apologize, Daniel, because I said that even if it was Chelsea or Fluminense against Paris Saint-Germain, no team could have any chance against PSG. So I must apologize to Chelsea's fan because yesterday was a day of brilliance for Blues.
Yeah, I think the big thing was it's also the style of how they won, because obviously
Yeah,
Paris Saint-Germain have already lost in this tournament. But that was a combination of sort of very deep defending and also Paris Saint-Germain missing chances. Whereas in this match, it wasn't. Chelsea, they weren't pressing high up the pitch, but they kept Paris Saint-Germain at a fairly safe distance.
yeah, and what struck me the most was I think it was the number of technical errors made by PSG's player because it's not usual. We have seen it during all the tournament, and now yesterday we saw a lot of mistakes, individuals. I can think about the Nuno Mendes against Malo Gusto's goal because he didn't appreciate well the ball, in my opinion. Um, the fact that Cole Palmer had 3 chances and 2 goals from just inside the box at the same places because there is a lack of defensive attitude. It was the perfect game from Chelsea, to be honest.
That in particular really surprised me, considering we've spoken before about how well Nuno Mendes and the game plan around defending against wingers that cut inside forwards, such as Mohamed Salah, um, Bukayo Saka. These are world-class players that play on the right wing and cut inside, and Nuno Mendes had them in his back pocket for the majority of the 4 matches involved. And yet, against Cole Palmer, he really struggled. Why do you think it was Cole Palmer that caused him so many problems?
I think you talked about Mohamed Salah, which is a pure right winger. When he plays, he's on he stick on his line. He's a real winger. Cole Palmer, we saw it yesterday, is more versatile. He can play everywhere, and his moves are brilliant. And yesterday he was really helped by João Pedro's movements, even on the second goal, I think. When he cut inside, we saw Joao Pedro made a call, and the PSG's defense opened up to Cole Palmer to strike. So we saw it was not only Cole Palmer. I think it was a real teamwork yesterday because every player were involved, and it was quite impressive because I think that to beat this PSG team, every player has to be at 100%, and yesterday it was the case. Even Robert Sanchez, we told a lot of things about his capacity of hanging up his level and everything. Yesterday he made some precious saves, impressive saves. We saw also Cucurella. I, I have a sequence in mind when Desiré Doué just passed the ball to Hakimi, and he has the IQ to stay to just cut the pass possibility. So it was very intelligent and prevented PSG from scoring the first goal. Yeah, it was a real teamwork. What did you think?
Well, I think the thing with Robert Sanchez is his ability as a shot stopper has never really been in doubt. It's more about his ability to play out from the back. And when Chelsea bought him, they were looking for a ball-playing goalkeeper, and he seemed like a very strange choice because, again, he's often caught passing out from the back or making mistakes like that. But he's a good shot stopper. Yeah, I think, and you're absolutely right about Cucurella. It's quite interesting because the Doué chance in the first half, the in your head, you're sort of thinking that Doué, first of all, Doué should shoot from there. He's
Yeah,
near enough to just get it on target, and therefore the logic of Cucurella sort of standing still and not trying to block the shot is actually almost like a bad choice, because really what he should be doing is doing everything he can to block the shot, because that is the immediate danger. And yet he gambled and it paid off, which is
yeah.
it was quite a remarkable moment.
I think it's also a question of confidence. I think he trusts his goalkeeper because, as you said, he gambled, but I think he knows that Robert Sanchez could have stopped this strike. So yeah, it was very intelligent for and a fantastic display from both of them. And we can also talk about Moises Caicedo's game yesterday. It was incredible. He was everywhere. He was aggressive. He he was on defense, on attack. He recovered a lot of balls. He was really impressive yesterday.
Sort of this is becoming a more common thing, because obviously in the last couple of seasons, Cole Palmer, though starting on the right wing for Chelsea, quite often plays as a number 10, so he can influence play more, especially when Noni Madueke or Pedro Neto are playing on the right. But when he plays on the right now, Chelsea are able to have Enzo Fernandez as the number 10. And there seems to be a very strong midfield collective there, because you've got incredible athleticism in Caicedo, in 𝐊𝐤𝐤, and also they're good at passing the ball forwards as well. But then you also have Palmer and Fernandez a lot higher up, where they could be dangerous. So it was also a very clever tactical choice to sort of almost create like this box midfield with Cole Palmer coming inside. Do you think that's why Chelsea were able to pass through Paris Saint-Germain's press? It could, because this is the first time in a long time it looked like Paris Saint-Germain's press just didn't work.
Yeah, we saw a glimpse of that press being hurted against Bayern Munich in quarterfinal. But yesterday it was more impressive than against Bayern Munich, and more efficient, especially. I think there is also something that Maresca did good. It was to ask Pedro Neto to come to the left of the defense when Paris were in possession, because 𝐊𝐤𝐤, as we all know, is very fast. He can repeat efforts, and Pedro Neto has the ability to block him in pure run. So yesterday we saw a lot of duels lost by 𝐊𝐤𝐤 because he couldn't play like he used to against other opponents, and yeah, it paid off. And with Reece James incorporated in the midfield, it was also another alternative to the ball to go to the attacking line.
Yeah. Do you think that, because also in this competition, we've seen that Chelsea have by far had the more favourable draw, the more favourable path to the final, and Paris Saint-Germain have had to play some big teams on the way, especially knockout. Do you think Paris Saint-Germain may have run out of steam, considering how long this season has been? We said before that Paris Saint-Germain have been able to rotate throughout the domestic season, because obviously they basically won the league back in February, so they can concentrate on the Champions League. But this has been a very hot, very energy-sapping tournament for everybody. So the fact that Paris Saint-Germain weren't able to rotate or substitute many in, say, like the round of 16. Well, actually, that's not fair. They were dominant in the round of 16. But like, say, the quarterfinal against Munich, obviously a dominant victory against Real Madrid. Do you think they may have overexerted themselves with like the amount of energy they put into their press? But I mean, if you think about Real Madrid, they were still pressing so high up in like the last few minutes, and you do think that they had already had game one. Do you think, so do you think perhaps their energy levels weren't quite at the heights that they usually are, possibly because of whatever reason?
To be honest, I don't don't really agree with the theory of the tiredness of Paris players, because 5 days ago, when they played Real Madrid, nobody saw that they were tired. Yeah, it's the end of the.
Oh, it was 5 whole days. It's a
Yeah,
long time.
yeah. It's. I agree. It's the end of the season, of a long season. But yesterday, it was, even when they lost to Botafogo, it was not the same thing. They didn't seem as tired as they were yesterday. So I think they were just surprised by what Chelsea proposed, and they weren't in the inability to respond, because Chelsea scored 3 in 30 minutes, I think, and they didn't think they could have done it. Maybe they were. I don't think they underestimated Chelsea, because Luis Enrique. It's not Luis Enrique's type. But at the end of a season, even if it's a final, yeah, you can maybe say, and seeing what Chelsea is compared to Paris Saint-Germain, and with all the confidence, all the performances, the victories against Bayern, Real, Atletico, the Champions League, maybe they said that even if there were 80% of their capacity, they could win. But Chelsea wanted it more. And yesterday, I don't know what you think about that, but I didn't see it was friendly games. There were a lot of electricity in the air, and
the ending was surprisingly
the ending
spicy.
was I didn't think Luis Enrique could act like that. To be honest, especially when he said,
What do you think prompted that? Because I mean, it seemed. I mean, apart from it being a bit of a feisty game, but there didn't seem anything over the top. It didn't seem particularly nasty or disrespectful.
yeah,
So what do you think prompted it?
yeah, I don't really know, and it's strange because I remember that when Inter lost final in the Champions League, Luis Enrique, it was funny. He said that losers have to learn how to lose. And yesterday, he didn't know how to lose. He proved to be really angry with Chelsea's player, especially João Pedro. I don't know why it was like that. Even on the pitch with João Neves and Cucurella, a lot of fools, a lot of discussions. I don't really know. Do you have any idea about that?
Generally, that's what I was asking. It seemed so unprompted and so out of character. I mean, Luis Enrique is a passionate person, but he's also incredibly intelligent.
Yeah.
So yeah, you sort of get surprised when it's like when you see, I mean, less so, but it's when you see, say, Guardiola sort of getting really irritated, particularly with the opposition's players, and sort of venting towards them.
Yeah.
Seems similar thing happened in the FA Cup final in England when Crystal Palace beat Manchester City. He was absolutely like going off on one. I think it was the goalkeeper, Dean Henderson. And again, sort of this moment of just why are you doing that? I mean, yes, obviously, if you're annoyed at, say, like him time wasting, but that's also just part of the game, right? If you're winning a match and you have 5 minutes left, you waste time. That's it. It just happens. Lord
That's
knows
football, yeah.
Manchester City have done it forever as well. Like, it's not as if yeah, but it seems like a strange moment considering as well how many finals he's been in, how many trophies he's won, not having like that moment of, oh wow, he really can't lose, can he? So yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I suppose, but the idea being like, I think I just generally disagree with Luis Enrique's description of losers have to learn how to lose. Like, no, like winners do not learn how to lose. Winners hate losing so much. That's why they're winners. That's why they even the small losses, even the least important trophies, if they lose the final, they get annoyed. So yeah, strange thing. Do you think Chelsea win that final if João Pedro had not signed or was not starting?
To be honest, it's difficult to say because maybe Nicholas Jackson, because Liam Delap also enters the pitch, was substituted in the second half. So we can also talk about Delap. But to be honest, I don't really know. It's sure that I don't really agree with that politic of a team able to add players in during the tournament. I think it's unfair.
Didn't it?
Yeah. Imagine, just I don't know if did it work for loans. If Chelsea had taken João Pedro on loan for the competition,
Oh, I see.
do you think it could? Because you just have
Yeah,
to.
that would be a loophole, wouldn't it? But I mean,
Yeah.
they deliberately extended the transfer window. Like they opened it early for a week,
Yeah.
so teams in the Club World Cup could get new transfers in. That I don't have an issue with. And then they closed it again, but then it reopened during the tournament. So you sort of think like, why? What was the point of opening it a week before if you're then opening it at the exact same time anyway? Yeah, for me personally, it's I suppose the equivalent would be in the World Cup or other international tournaments. You bring a squad with you, and you can replace the squad member up until the very first day of the tournament. Once the tournament starts, you cannot replace people. If they get an injury, then you have one fewer players. It's just one of those things. So yeah, it seems quite strange that you then have a similar format of tournament, and yet in this one, you could just sign players as you go along, including players from other teams in the tournament. Very strange.
Yeah, but if you sign player from other teams, they couldn't play in the tournament. So it's
I know.
just
Saying like you could sort of hypothetically
say
say for example, Jamie Gittins was
yeah,
leaving Dortmund to sign for
Dortmund
Chelsea, and
to
therefore
Chelsea.
Dortmund weren't playing him. Now, to be fair, the way they set up, they don't usually use wingers, so that's probably why they're happy to sell Gittins.
Yeah,
But still, the fact is, like Gittins could have been playing in a quarter-final against Real Madrid, but instead he signed for Chelsea, where he couldn't play, but therefore he also wasn't playing for Dortmund. So yeah, it seems like hypothetically you could just sign a player from your rivals, unless a deal was made beforehand with a clause. Like, so for example, Esteval was not going to leave before the end of the tournament. I think there was another deal with another Brazilian team where a player had signed for someone else, but he would stay until the end of the tournament. Mastantuono, right? He would not leave until the end of the tournament. So yeah, it's strange that it didn't apply to Gittins,
but to be honest, I have mixed emotion concerning that because I don't agree with the fact that you can have players during the tournament, but I don't think it's an excuse for PSG or for every other team because they could also have added players. So Chelsea did it and the other didn't. So they had the possibility. And by the way, PSG wanted to get Zabarni for the tournament, and they didn't succeed yet. So they wanted to have someone during this. So it could have changed. I think João Pedro is not the key point or the main point of this final. It was Lucas Beraldo and William Pacho, because Pacho really missed PSG yesterday.
General view of the tournament, as opposed to just looking at the match, who do you think were the biggest, let's say, overachievers and underachievers? I was going to say winners and losers, but obviously the winners are Chelsea, and obviously financially and regards to prestige, they're big. They're the biggest winners by far. A team that finished fourth in the English Premier League, who were only in the Conference League last season, who are going through this huge rebuild, and under this new ownership, who hadn't won a trophy yet, suddenly win, quote, the biggest trophy in club football. Heavy quotes on that one. But rather than the winners, who do you think were the biggest overachievers in the whole tournament, and who do you think were the biggest underachievers, the biggest disappointments, the biggest surprises?
Talking about teams,
I mean, individual players as well, but
it's difficult to say because we would like to say Auckland City for the surprise draw against Boca Juniors. It was Boca Juniors because it was historic, in fact. But it's just for the sentimental part. We can't say it's the. I don't think we can say it's the best achievement. I would say in global Brazilian team, because they were really impressive, and especially Fluminense.
Fluminense getting to the semi-final
Yeah,
is alone is quite an overachievement, or a
yeah,
perceived overachievement.
yeah. I would go with Fluminense for the overachievement, and for the
I mean, it's hard to look past any European team that was knocked out in the group stage, like Porto, especially Atletico Madrid.
Atletico. Yeah.
And essentially, Atletico were eliminated because they lost heavily to Paris Saint-Germain. They were eliminated on goal difference. But then also, you look at teams. You look at teams like Inter, who in the group stage sort of stumbled through the group. They looked threatening, but missed a lot of chances. But then managed to get out of the group stage. But then were eliminated anyway. Manchester City were
Manchester City, yeah,
because they played so brilliantly. They just happened to come across this chaotic game against Al Hilal. Can you see beyond, say, like anybody else apart from Atletico Madrid? I suppose one big disappointment with the Argentinian teams.
Yeah, because I think they could have done better. Could we talk about Real Madrid? Because
although I suppose getting to the semi-final is
it's difficult, but from what they have shown, they were really good against Al Hilal, I think, in the group stage. But
it's in the next round.
They beat Juventus. You're right. I forgot about that.
I suppose it's quite difficult. Like having a disappointing performance is one thing, but also you have the context of the new coach, new tactical system, new players, and actually they were still missing a lot of players. I forget that, like, say for example, Trent Alexander-Arnold was injured when they played Paris Saint-Germain, so they had a back four that consisted of two midfielders. It's like you take it, and then of course the left back was not even the first choice left back. So yeah, you take those kind of things with a pinch of salt, right?
And can we talk about Chelsea as a big surprise finally? Because
I suppose why I ask this is, like, are Chelsea surprised? Because you look at the teams they faced, and I mean, you can only beat what's in front of you, but they have beaten teams that are perceived beneath them in world standings, and they've not come across another big team until the final, and then they played fantastic. But the fact is, like, them getting to the final when you see the teams they've had to face is not a surprise. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay, I understand what you say. The biggest surprise was for them to beat PSG that way, because they could have beat PSG 1-0 on a last minute penalty. The result would have been the same, but yesterday they put the point on that game, and it was okay. I see. And
I think you and I agree that Fluminense are the biggest sort of surprise, and a pleasant surprise at that.
Yeah.
Thank goodness that a team outside of Europe got to a semi-final. Yes. So the biggest disappointments, would you say it was Atletico?
Atletico, I think, yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe Porto, considering their group was perceived to be the easiest group.
Yeah, but Porto had a difficult season, so they continued their difficult season. Atletico finished third in La Liga. They could even have finished better if with one or two better games. They didn't do really well in the Champions League, but they were okay this season. And I think against Botafogo and Seattle Sounders, they should have come through. So yeah, I think Atletico is more disappointing than Porto. And for you?
I completely agree. Just thinking about some of the Argentinian teams, there was some. It wasn't just the disappointing performance; it's how they played.
River Plate especially.
Yeah, River okay in parts, but Boca Juniors seemed to sort of kind of just fold. It was really strange. In that case, individually, what was the moment of the tournament? It's like the single best moment and the single low point.
I will also go with Auckland City's goal because it was extraordinary. I cannot go with...
For me personally, the moment of the tournament, as in like, and also the thing that FIFA can then use to sell it in the future, was Al Hilal beating Manchester City.
Yeah.
The first time an Asian team had ever beaten a European team in the Club World Cup or Intercontinental Cup, however you want to describe it. but also that match itself was really good fun. It was in the evening as well, so like the atmosphere was exciting. That was a very, very fun match.
Yeah.
I think that's the moment of the tournament.
And what was the game of the tournament for you?
It has to be that, surely. In regards to like back and forth, two sides. What you don't want is one side like just winning 5-6-0. Like Paris Saint-Germain, Real Madrid was an incredible performance, but it wasn't the best match. And so
because to have a great match, you have to have two great teams. So Real Madrid were...
The Bayern Paris Saint-Germain game was really fun as well.
Yeah.
That was really, really good.
I remember the Chelsea Palmeiras also in the group stage, which was really entertaining. But I don't know if you saw it. I think it was at 2 a.m. UK time.
In the group stage, you mean Chelsea Flamengo? Because if it's the group stage, Flamengo beat them in the group stage. Whereas Chelsea played Palmeiras.
Porto Palmeiras, excuse me.
Yes. Yeah.
Porto Palmeiras.
Yeah, that was a fun game. In fact, those last set of games were really fun, considering they all could qualify and they all could get eliminated.
Yeah,
that was. It actually, we'll come on to the women's Euros later about teams having the freedom to attack, and suddenly they look a lot better than they did when they were trying to defend. And
I saw that Cole Palmer has been elected player of the tournament, but I don't really agree with that.
I think inevitably the best player of the tournament is going to go to the winning team, but that's not always true, is it? Sometimes the best player. Comparison. It's going to go across sport. Back in the 2015, 2019. I forget which one it is. Cricket's World Cup. Actually, I think it was 2019 when England beat New Zealand in the final. Their score was tied. Great final. Score was tied at the end. Then they had a super over, which was also tied, and it went to this strange metric. The most even match you can imagine, really good fun, and England won it on a technicality. Player of the tournament was a New Zealand player, and I think that's absolutely fine. The winning team doesn't necessarily have the best player, you still think that across the entire tournament, and it's almost. But here's the thing, right? So the Ballon d'Or is going to be coming up at the end of the year. I say coming up, we're halfway through the year, and we're sort of talking about the favourites being Dembele, Vitinha. Paris Saint-Germain players. But you think back to last season, when Vinicius Jr., Real Madrid didn't turn up because they thought it was an affront and an insult, which is the most petulant, childish thing I've ever heard. But part of the thought was, well, because a Real Madrid player was second, third, and fourth, it splits the votes, as opposed to just one clear player in Rodri, right? So no other Manchester City player was close, whereas you had 3 Real Madrid players to choose from. Yeah. It might be a similar thing with Paris Saint-Germain. You have several players going for the Ballon d'Or. They might split the votes, meaning someone like, say, Rafinha or 𝐊𝐤𝐤 might get it.
But in my opinion, so just to come back to Cole Palmer being named player of the tournament, I would have given it to John Arias from Fluminense or Achraf Hakimi from Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah, that's a really, really good shout. John Arias was so impressive in that run to the semi-final. It was a good shout. Hello, Pedro.
Hello, Pedro.
We are talking about the Club World Cup in general. We're sort of describing what our moments of the tournament, like the high point and the low point. What do you think was the best and worst moment of the tournament?
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to wish a very happy birthday day for all French people.
Thanks. Merci.
Yes, this is a quite new tournament, the Club World Cup. I think, as I say, have positive points and points against. What I love the most is watch teams from different continents to play at the same level that the European teams who are in the first level of the world soccer. It's what I love the most. What I didn't like so much, it was the load of the game, and this tournament in the North America in July, most of the stadiums the temperature humid and very, very hot. and also the load for the players. But I enjoy it. I enjoy it. Really enjoy to see the Brazilian clubs to reach the playoffs and to fight against considered sharks in Europe, and a surprising final because everybody was expecting. It was a general sensation that PSG would destroy Chelsea. In my opinion, this is underestimate the opponent, and of course, I didn't expect a win by big numbers because it's a final. It's a final in a new tournament. It should be a close game. But for me, it was a surprise that Chelsea was leading at halftime by a margin of 3 goals. I didn't expect that. I was with my mouth open. What is happening here?
Yeah. I mean, I think we agree. Although I'll point out, last week I did mention that my opinion was that Chelsea would surprise a lot of people with their performance. Although I did also predict that Paris Saint-Germain would win. Leo, we didn't actually say what we thought our lowest moment of the tournament was. What do you think was the low point of this?
Unfortunately, I think it was the organization, American oriented organization, because yesterday Buffer's announcement, the fact that that players entered the pitch one by one, the halftime show. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry to say that, but yeah.
No,
Never again, please.
I complained about this in the first game. Do you remember me saying it doesn't work? Like players walk out one by one. It's so stupid. Now, Real Madrid against Paris Saint-Germain, it works for that because they are all the superstars. That is an incredible match. But they're the only two teams. No one else cares about that. I was going to ask, is the low point the halftime show? Because that was weird.
Yeah, that was weird. The stage was that 200 meters above the supporters. It was that little. It was strange, and it lasts for 24 minutes.
Again, it's the Americanization of it, right? They're trying to make it like the Super Bowl, and it doesn't work.
No, we don't care about that. We just want to see 22 guys running after a ball.
As well, this doesn't happen in NFL, like the American football. They don't have halftime shows in every match. They have a 20-minute halftime, right? That's a regular amount of time. But for Super Bowl, it's like 45 minutes for the halftime show. So it's not as if it's a thing in the sport generally. It's just like, no. Like for most matches, people have 15, 20-minute rest and then they come back out. Otherwise, their bodies start to rest and it's dangerous.
And it breaks with the laws of the game because it is written that the halftime must be 15 minutes long. So... Yeah, that's. What did you think about that Americanization, Pedro?
I don't know. My son told me that the Coldplay are performing. I was saying this is strange. It's only 15 minutes break. The rules are the rules, and you cannot compare the Super Bowl with this final. The Super Bowl, it's the most expensive game in the world. It's the game where the tickets are more expensive in the entire world, even with the Nations World Cup, and they have huge incomes by advertising. Okay, advertising on TV. So they make this show. They make this show. This is part of the program. This is a must have. This is a must have for the fans who pays a fortune for the tickets, and for the sponsors who are paying the highest levels of advertising in the entire world. In soccer doesn't make sense. If you watch, for example, the American basketball NBA, okay, they have breaks, they have shows, but it's 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes, no more, at the break. So for me, it was no sense what they did.
Yeah.
Also, this is a bit a statistic. It's a bit old now. I think this is from the season before lockdown. But the Super Bowl had something like 180 million viewers around the world, which makes sense because obviously in their American audiences, most people don't watch it by themselves. They watch it in groups of people. And it's estimated like 78% of the entire nation are either watching the Super Bowl or working because of the Super Bowl, right? That's about 170, 180 million people watch the Super Bowl around the world. And comparatively, the year before at the 2018 Russia World Cup, a dead rubber between two nations that didn't get out of a group stage, I forget what the teams were, the viewing figures around the world was 190 million. So it's this thing of like what is described as the biggest sporting event in the world, which is only described by Americans, we should say. Sorry to our American viewers, but it's true. Described as the biggest sporting event in the world is genuinely smaller than the smallest match at a FIFA World Cup. But on a global scale. But it's really interesting the wording because Pedro said it's the most expensive sporting event, and that is true. It's a financial thing, right? Yeah. So you do wonder like why FIFA are going down this route, and then you remember it's money, right? It's certainly not to increase the viewing figures because FIFA have won that. They had like the World Cup is the biggest sporting event. It's bigger than the Olympics now. You know, like worldwide is the biggest sporting event, and no one is going to come near to it. And yet, they're trying to sort of force this entertainment into the final.
I took a look a few weeks ago. The first event is the World Cup. The second is the Tour de France, and the third is the Olympics.
Tour de France.
Yeah, Tour de France. I was shocked because I didn't know it was.
I do promise that's just not in France because I would believe it if it was just French viewing figures.
Yeah, no, but I think it's something watched worldwide. But just to come back to the games, I don't know if you noticed that even during the cooling breaks, there is music and everything.
Yeah.
No, please, we don't want that.
And it's also cooling breaks sponsored by such and such. You know,
yeah.
Sorry. Actually, that's a very good discussion. I'm glad you did that. I was going to say, my lowest point, arguably, I think yours is a very good one. My lowest point for the tournament was the 2-hour break for weather between Chelsea and Benfica, which made an absolute joke of the sport. A sport that could be played in any weather apart from, obviously, absolute monsoon season. But if you're 5 minutes away from finishing the match, you have to then delay for 2 hours, which then alters the rest of the match because Benfica can come out, you know, charging, and they found an equaliser. Fortunately, it didn't matter because Chelsea, you know, won in extra time and the result wasn't affected. But that match lasted over 4 hours.
Yeah,
it's completely unacceptable. And the fact that we had 6 or 7 weather breaks in total is a shambles.
Yeah.
Then let me tell you this very very quickly. I waited so much for that game. It was very late in Europe. That could change the story of the tournament because Benfica equalized in the no-sense penalty. Benfica balanced the game. The game it was 50-50, and it was that silly red card that I talk about with no sense. When Benfica young players they tackle the opponent in their offensive area and got red card, and that gave the possibility for Chelsea to finish the game. So it's not acceptable that the game is interrupted for almost 2 hours. I think it's not acceptable.
Yeah.
Daniel, I got a breaking news for you. Wolves are close to completing a 15 million pound deal to sign Fluminense's John Arias.
No,
yeah,
really?
According to Sky Sports.
I mean, I'll be honest, I think that's a terrible idea. I mean, we've just been talking about how good a tournament John Arias has had.
But I think they are watching the stream right now.
Right, Maybe those have changed their mind. But to remind me, like, John Arias has played in Europe before. Was he at Lyon? He was at a French club.
No, he didn't play in Lyon. No. I will tell you.
Yeah, thank you. But I'm fairly certain he played at a French club for about 4 or 5 seasons.
No, he only played in Colombia. He played Patriotas Boyacá, Llaneros, América de Cali, Independiente Santa Fe, and he's playing at Fluminense since 2021.
Oh, in that case, I maybe have confused him.
He's a 31 capped Colombian player.
Oh, here's the thing. I might have researched the wrong John Arias in that case, because my stats say if this is the same one, he's 29.
This Arias is 27.
27. Okay, apparently I researched the wrong John Arias.
I think I will have a look about what Arias you were talking about, because I'm interested.
Yes. So, but okay. Well, I mean, obviously, this goes back to because back in the day, clubs would sign players if they had a really, really good European Championship. If they had a really good World Cup, they're like, "Wow, that's a good player. We'll sign them." And a lot of the time, that kind of fell down. It seemed to sort of not all good players can play in England. Not all good players fit every team, right? And also, some players really suit international football. What are your two instincts then? If this goes through, John Arias to Wolverhampton Wanderers, do you think it's a good signing, or do you think actually the reason he's been so impressive in this tournament is because it's more of an international feel to this as opposed to playing in the Premier League, which is a very physical league?
Pedro, go on.
I think Premier League is really a physical league. There's big guys who know how to defend and how to protect the ball. That's why the transfer of VAR Espresso is taking so long. I think finally in the next 24 hours we can release the news that VAR Espresso goes to Arsenal. It's because there's a current, as Daniel said, there's a current in Arsenal. They think he's not the best choice for spend so much money, because what he did in the Portuguese league, he will not do so easily in the Premier League, because Premier League defenders are really tough to dribble and pass like butter in July.
To me, I think it could be a bad deal, but it's only for the Premier League. It's only 15 million deal. I think he's 27, Colombia international. I think even if it doesn't work at Wolves, he could be sold in 2 or 3 years. So yeah, I think it's not that bad, but it's strange. It's funny that just after that tournament where he shone, we saw that a 50 million offer arrived on Fluminense's desk. What do you think about that possible deal?
I will point out, I misheard you. I thought you said 50 as in 50. So 15 makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, 15. Yeah.
I've just sort of gone through my notes. I'm not sure who I was thinking about then. If it's clearly not John Arias. But yeah, on one of my previews for a South American team, I could have sworn it was John Arias. Never mind. But I mean, my instinct says a lot of very skillful wingers do not do well in the Premier League because they essentially lose the advantage. They lose their advantage of being able to dribble, of having time on the ball, which is a big thing. I mean, you consider Vitinha is now one of the best midfielders in the world, and he struggled while he was in the Premier League. Although, to be fair, that was about 4 or 5 years ago when he was younger. But some of the best players in Europe don't necessarily perform in England. And it's a big ask, I think, asking someone to come from South America to then do the same thing. I think quite often as well, if you get players from South America who do really well in the Premier League, they tend to be younger and they tend to have more time to acclimatise. Whereas Wolves, they will be facing, fighting against relegation next season, and they're going to have to hit the ground running. It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. I think we will see, but it can be interesting for John Arias if it's in the Premier League.
I have a question for both, and it's not a joke. Do you guys think that João Felix worth the 40 million that Schalke is trying to put the player in the market?
I think so. I mean, I don't feel bad for João Felix. He's very, very rich. But you do wonder what the hell's happened there, because when he signed for Atletico Madrid, it was that we've just discussed this before about that was a period when Atletico were trying to change their identity under Diego Simeone. They were going to be more attacking, more technical, and within 6 months they abandoned that idea because it wasn't working. And then João Felix was this sort of extra player that they didn't know what to do with. And yeah, he seems to be floating between clubs because no one wants that sort of free number 10 that doesn't really have a defensive responsibility. You wonder where he'll end up, where he fits, because very few elite teams will now take sort of how do they describe it? Like the spare player, the luxury player, the one that doesn't press and the one that doesn't harry and harass defenders. Honestly, the only one that really springs to mind is Real Madrid, but that wouldn't happen in a million years. Can you think of any teams that you would suit now?
No, that's difficult to. Yeah, as you said, it's a player with a special profile, so it's very difficult. It maybe he would have fit in PSG as a false nine, but because he don't
not the work rate. He's not the work. Yeah,
that's right. If we just talk about his technical profile, but everything aside, I don't really think he could have fit. So
you think? I mean, personally, I'm surprised his AC Milan loan didn't quite work, although Milan aren't in a good place currently, because it feels like the Italian league would be more suited to him. Sort of like teams happy to sit off rather than press, and being offered to that little bit of creativity. Pedro, what is your opinion on it?
I tell you this, I don't know if you know this, but Sérgio Conceição, the former coach in AC Milan, is a friend of João Felix. João Felix used to pass holidays in the north in the house of Sérgio Conceição. Why? Because Sérgio Conceição's sons all are football players. Francisco is the older, but they're the youngest, also football players. And one of the kids was junior champion in Benfica. I don't remember the name. When João Felix was in Benfica, and they are very close friends. So he called the player. He have a friendship with the player. He took the risk to bring to AC Milan, and that didn't work. For me, Barcelona was a good spot. Me, it was a good spot. The season was not bad. He scored 10 goals. Most of the goals were important goals in derbies and so far, and also have a decent level of assists. But once again, the Barcelona coach told it doesn't work to pay in that time the 15 million of the purchase. And now in one season, the prices already dropped 10 million. Benfica tried, I don't know what Chelsea did. Benfica was trying to buy 50% of the pass for 20 and give a percentage on the future sale.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Right, we are running out of time, so we're going to move on from the Club World Cup. Obviously, Chelsea are champions. Congratulations on I think it's estimated 90 million pounds that they've earned from this competition.
Yeah,
good for them. Another rich club gets richer.
They needed that.
Yeah. Yes, but let's talk about the Women's European Championship. The group stage wrapped up yesterday. So we didn't have a show the day before. There was an incredible victory for Sweden over Germany, 4-1 to the Swedes. In case anybody read my preview for the Women's Euros, you'll have noticed that I did say my personal outside bets. The dark horses were Sweden. I think Sweden are really defensive, solidly defensive, and have some fierce attacking players. But also Poland in their first ever major tournament beat Denmark in their last game. Neither team could have gone through, but it's still a great way for Poland to bow out of the tournament. But yesterday, England defeated Wales 6-1. But perhaps the more surprising result, France defeat the Netherlands 5-2. The Netherlands needed to beat France by, I think, 3 clear goals to qualify in their place. But France turned it around after trading 2.5 time. So it ends like this with Group C. Sweden won the group ahead of Germany, and in Group D, France won the group ahead of England. Leo, you said before, you didn't get a chance to watch the highlights for these games.
I just saw the Cascarino's goal from yesterday.
I would encourage you to, just because, first of all, obviously, 14 goals across 2 matches, very good fun. But also, I think the French team were you saw some of their vulnerabilities. But also, they physically, especially, their pressing is so good, and they're exciting attacking, and they're looking like a really good prospect for the final.
To be honest, I just saw the Cascarino's solo goal, and it was really incredible. Even if I think we talked about that, I think it was the Finland game against. When they played against Norway against Iceland, and there were 2 goals scored by Norway when defense didn't defend on the attackers, and I think it's quite the same. But the strike was extraordinary, and I think that. What is really good and with this French team is the team spirit of that, because when I read articles on L'Équipe about that, and it's a real, they describe it as a real family, a real group, a real team, and I think it's very important in that kind of tournament. So let's see. I hope they will go further than the quarterfinals.
So, Pedro, you've been watching the tournament as well. Which team has surprised you? Obviously, we all knew that Spain would be dominant, and they were in a fairly not easy group, but obviously these are the world champions. They are the best team in the world, and they were fantastic. But which team has surprised you the most?
Let me start to say what surprised me the less. It was the Denmark teams who makes the worst European ever, with 0 points. That never happened. In 97, they make only 1 point. And now they are talking about generation crisis. They are telling in Denmark, you know that not all the generations are so good had the previous. In my opinion, they need to make changes in the front office. Also, Portugal disappointed for me. Portugal never was in a winning position in all the games, committed really, really terrible defensive mistakes, and of course, the opponents saw Portugal defending like that. Of course, they know they're going to score if it is not in the first drive, it's in the second or on the third. I like very much to see the Norway team play. They are playing very, very well. They are strong. I think Norway is a contender to reach the semi-final. And I'm really anxious to see the game between Switzerland and Spain in the first round of the playoffs. I just wish that Switzerland can do best than in the World Cup when they lose by 5 goals to 1. And also the other teams are really, really strong. Germany and France will be a battle.
So yes, for those so the top half of the draw, the quarterfinals are Norway against Italy and Sweden against England. Those are the 4 teams in the top half of the draw. But then, the bottom half of the draw, Spain against host nation Switzerland, and then France against Germany. Oh my goodness, the bottom half of the draw is spicy. I mean, you would guess that the winners of the tournament would come from this side of the draw. I mean, even okay, so between the two of you, who do you think is better, assuming Spain beat Switzerland, which I think it'd be a great occasion, the world champions against the host nation, but Switzerland were the least impressive team of all the teams that qualified. I've got a few questions for you, obviously, because I do some quiz questions, but I will give you this one. So accumulated expected goals and expected goals against. The team with the lowest accumulated expected goals, so created the fewest chances across all 3 matches, were Wales, which is hardly surprising, finish at bottom of the group, first ever tournament. But then second is Switzerland. Out of all 16 teams, Switzerland are the second lowest team about creating chances, and yet they qualified for the quarterfinals. So you would expect that Spain would destroy them. But between France and Germany, I'll ask both of you, who do you think is best suited to beating Spain in the semi-final?
I think France on a knockout game will be very complicated to beat. They got talented players and experienced player, which counts in that kind of tournament. They also have youth players, so it's a good mix, I think. But yeah, Spain will be very, very difficult to beat for any team because they are arguably the best team in the world and on the last few years. So it will be difficult, but I think France would have the best possibility to do it.
Pedro, your answer?
Well, it's the same here. If Spain doesn't have a bad day, it will be very, very difficult to beat. They are good in all the sectors. As I said, they can pass, they can dribble, they can shoot from the left, from the right, from the center. The other teams need to try to find a weakest link of Spain. When they can find an edge to create advantage against Spain, it's not easy to find out.
So looking at the top half of the draw, obviously Norway and Italy, that's a bit of that'll be interesting. Pedro, you mentioned before that Norway are playing good. I sort of highlighted before the tournament, they have an incredible attacking. I think they've got a really, really good squad, but their performance was really underwhelming. So their expected goals accumulated was only 3.73 across 3 matches. But their expected goals against was 4.51. They conceded a lot of chances, and that was against teams like Switzerland, Finland, and Iceland. These are teams that are all outside of the top 10 in the world. So you do worry about Norway if they get any further. But yes, I'm going to ask you some questions now that the group stage is done. Now, the top goal scorers were Spain, and then second is joint between France and England. So you got some context. Which team do you think has, of the entire tournament, created the most opportunities regarding accumulative expected goals?
Pedro, do you have any idea?
I will try France, who finished with the most points, 9.
To me, it's difficult to say. Yeah, Spain, I think it's impressive, but Sweden also, no? Or
Okay.
England? No, wait.
I mean, you've said 4 teams. Come on.
Yeah. Sorry. No, because we discussed that few shows.
Yeah, we did. At the time, Germany were, but that was after 2 matches, and that was not including Group D second round matches. So it was premature.
Okay, I would go with Wales.
You're going with?
Wales.
As in created the most opportunities, not created against.
Created. Okay. No, so I will stay with what would I say? Yeah, go with Spain because
You're going Spain.
Well,
they are the top goal scorers with 14.
Yeah.
Pedro, you said Sweden. What did you say? You said
I said France.
You said France. So France are fourth with 7.93. Sweden the third.
Don't tell me it's England.
England have created the most, like the highest expected goals, despite the fact they finished second in their group, which is quite unusual. You'd expect, obviously, all the teams that won their group to have created the most or had the best defence. But no, England did. Although, to be fair, the last match was against Wales, which was the lowest ranked team in the competition. So, you know, all does that. But yeah, expected goals against. Which team do you think had the best defence, like prevented the most chances? Pedro?
Leo, go ahead.
That's difficult.
Yeah, Leo, you go first. So the lowest XG against.
So I think it's a quarterfinalist. No, I don't think it's Norway. Then I will go
surprisingly high.
Yeah, I will go with Spain too.
Okay, I say Germany.
Astonishingly, in the top four, two of them have not qualified for the quarterfinals.
Okay.
You remember me? I think I said this at the time. Group A, Finland and Iceland were both eliminated, despite the fact they had a better XG and XG against than the ones that qualified. So Finland are the fourth best with 2.79 against. Iceland are the third best with 2.78. Second is Spain with 2.75. So the team with the best defense. It's also the team that's only conceded one goal so far in the tournament, and the only team with 2 clean sheets. Sweden.
Okay.
Sweden have only conceded one goal in 3 matches, and that was in their last game against Germany. So Sweden. So it's quite interesting. So Sweden and England play each other in the quarterfinal. One of them has the highest XG, so the best attacking creativity, and the other one is the best at stopping attacking creativity. So that'll be an interesting contest, I think. Anything else from here I should take out? Only 2 teams have not kept a clean sheet. 2 teams that have qualified for the quarterfinal have not kept a clean sheet. Who do you think they are? 2 teams.
2 teams have not.
Each of you give me one.
Okay.
It's done.
Can you repeat just the question?
Sure. So in the quarterfinals, 2 teams have yet to keep a clean sheet. So they've conceded in every single match and still got to the quarterfinals. There are 2 teams. Pedro, who do you think? You only have to name one.
Two teams.
England?
No, England lost to France.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Against Wales. Leo, do you want to get a guess?
Give me a hand, please.
So your teams, remember the quarterfinal: Norway, Italy, Sweden, England, Spain, Switzerland, France, Germany.
Yeah, I try to just think of the games. Germany?
No, Germany have kept a clean sheet. The answers are Norway.
Okay.
France did not keep a clean sheet. They even conceded against Wales.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They won 5-1. Yeah, 5-1 yesterday. They conceded 2.
Yeah.
And against England, they conceded 1. So
yes. So the quarterfinals, France against Germany is the obvious pick. That is going to be such a good match. Really interesting. I would actually agree with you guys because you said you think France are the best placed team to beat Spain. I would completely agree with you. About, I'd say 4 or 5 days ago, I would have said Germany. But now they've lost their captain, their right back, 𝐊𝐢𝐤𝐤, is out for the tournament. And her, the understudy, the backup, got sent off in the last game, so she's suspended. So now Germany don't have a right back. And you do wonder against Spain, who have Carmona bombing down the left wing, From left back, you also have, I don't know, depends who plays at the left wing, and it might be Caldente, it might be Pina, but the fact is, like, they have such good players everywhere. So, like, the fact that Germany don't have a recognised right back could be a problem against the Spanish. But you have to get past France first. But you do think in the top half of the draw, one of Norway, Italy, Sweden, and England will be in the final. And obviously, being English, it'd be great to see. But also, I said before, Sweden for me were the dark horses for all the tournament. You could see Sweden getting to the final, and if it were against Spain, Sweden are the exact sort of setup that they can defeat the Spanish. They have a great defense, really solid, don't give up many opportunities, and they have
a good attack too.
They have the ability to counterattack with a striker who is clinical, strong, and tall. That could frighten anybody.
Yeah, I think it's a good dark horse for that. But if we just talk about quality of the players, I don't think any team can compete with England on that side of the table. But yeah, it will be between England and Sweden, in my opinion. What do you think, Pedro?
I think Sweden have chances. I saw some games, and they really are offensive. They are strong. They have a good chemistry between both. But my idea is that Spain is going to the final. It's my opinion.
Yeah.
No matter the teams that they will try to battle against. Of course, I like close games. I like exciting games. I don't like to see a team walking and win easily. This is not funny. But my question is, which team can stop Spain before the final?
Well, I mean, that was the question I asked you two, and you both said France. And I think France's ability to press is something that Spain haven't come across very often. Being put under pressure in build-up, and also, first of all, France's one-on-one skill. The fact they can dribble past players is a huge, huge bonus. France have the tools to defeat Spain. They do. And you do, like I say, and you do wonder if Spain, they are so good. And you do wonder that if France press them, if Spain have the ability to score, say, 2 or 3 goals quite early and the game's gone, or France can actually surprise them, But yeah, that's my guess for the semi-final. Honestly, I've no idea who's going to be between England and Sweden. Sweden are looking really good. They're in a really strong place. This was the semi-final from 3 years ago, and England beat Sweden then. Yeah, on paper you would say England, but again, don't discount the Swedes. The Swedes are really good. I think possibly the 2 most fun games or the most interesting games will be France and Germany, and Norway, Italy. Italy's coach before the tournament described them as the dark horses, saying that they had the ability to go all the way and win it. And people Italy aren't, where are they in the world? Are they 12th, 13th? They're not particularly high. And they're by no means I think in the top 6 or 7 in Europe. So, they were never taken that seriously. But they do have a path, though. I think they could really surprise Norway. Norway, who are showing a bit of naivety in their play. They have the ability to score against anybody, but they also concede against anybody. And Italy have shown that they are very, very good at controlling matches. And actually, they were a bit unlucky against Spain. They could have gotten something against Spain. So I think it's going to be Italy in the next round. I think it's going to be Spain, and I think it's going to be France. And I genuinely don't know between England and Sweden. But hey, right, should we end it there? It's been an hour and 10. I'm going to go for my lunch because it's that time of day. Anything you two want to add before we move on?
I think we are complete today.
Well, in that case, I'm not sure when we're next going to do a live stream. We might do one regarding a roundup of transfers. That might be an interesting one to do. And we could also combine that with extended coverage of the Women's Euros as it goes along. There's going to be a couple of days between fixtures. I think the next fixture is on Wednesday. I will be putting out. I'm not doing a match report for England Wales because Steve's doing that today, but I will do it for Netherlands France. That'll come out later today. Tomorrow, I'll do a quick roundup of the group stage in regards to overachievers, underachievements, some stats like I just threw at you then, some other things I've not said. And then Wednesday maybe we'll look at previewing the quarterfinals as well as doing some transfer roundup. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
See if Jean Arias is in the Premier League by that point.
Where? Because
sorry.
Yeah, where will he play? Where will he be playing? Because we don't know if Chelsea will put $20 on 20 million pound and just to steal it from Wolves
again.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna end there. Thank you so much, Pedro. Thank you so much, Leo.
Thanks, Pedro. Thanks, Daniel, for that mount.
Yes, everybody keep your eyes on the socials. We'll say when Nick's doing a live stream, when it's doing a show. But yes, subscribe, follow, read the articles. They're very good. Better than this nonsense. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a nice day.